Hello and welcome once again to Herb Strather Live with Herb Strather. I'm John Hill, and today I am sitting in for Herb for about 5-10 minutes. Herb's over there, as he usually does, helping homeowners. You know, we're close to the tax time, and so what happens is in the foreclosure in Wayne County foreclosure tax time, people lose their homes. So Herb is doing everything he can to save homes, to save the people's homes, to keep Detroiters in their homes. And he's over there, as I speak, sitting down with one of the ladies who's one of the senior representatives of Wayne County tax foreclosure, seeing how he can help keep people in their homes. So today we're going to be talking about that very thing, not only tax foreclosure, but we're going to be talking about foreclosure period and how Detroiters can stay in their homes. That's one of the things that we'll be talking about. And we have a special guest with us that worked with Herb and her, Deborah Brown, or Deborah Brown, right, Deborah?
Yes.
Deborah Brown worked side by side to keep Deborah in her home. So let's start right out with it, Deborah. Tell me, what is your story? I know Herb helped you, and I know you came in and you paid off your home. Your home is completely yours. Nobody can touch it. And even Herb even talked to you about a way where you never have to pay taxes again. So
yes.
That's unbelievable. So you can literally stay in your home and nobody can touch it for the rest of your life.
No one could touch it for the rest of my life. Nothing but my son. He got a long way to go because he's only 16.
So he's only 16. So he has a house for the rest of his life.
He has a house for the rest of his life.
Hopefully he's not like a lot of these millennials. Do they call them millennials now still, or is he in a different generation?
He's in a different generation because he's going to school to be a bone surgeon. So.
Oh wow! Well, he will never have to worry making that type of money.
You don't have to worry about it. Right.
And you don't have to worry about him staying in your basement like a lot of millennials do till
definitely.
He's 55.
He always asks me, Mom, what you going to do when I go to college? I say, live.
Yeah, absolutely. Start living again, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, second life. I hear you. We got an amen happening from our engineer over here, Dion.
Yes.
But so tell me about your story. You were your home was in foreclosure.
My home was in foreclosure, and one of Herb Strather's associates came to the house around October of 2015, and I was given the opportunity to stay in my home. At first, it was like a dream. It was like something that wasn't real because you didn't know was it for real or not. But I listened to what he had to say, and he basically explained to me by me living here for 16 years that I had basically already paid for the home. The mortgage rate kept going up every year. It was switching from one bank company to a different mortgage company. So once he explained to me what I needed to do to come down and see Herb, and I took the time out and came down and see him that week. And Herb asked me a simple question, do I want to live in a home? And the answer was yes. And he asked me how much do I want to pay for the house to stay in there. I said $10,000. He asked me what's the percentage rate. I said 2% rate. He asked me what could I afford to pay monthly. Make sure I made an amount that I can afford and that I would keep to my word. And it was only $250 a month.
Only $250 a month.
$250 a month.
So he made sure you had a payment that you would have no problem paying.
That I would have no problem paying, and I kept my word indeed. I didn't miss not one payment. I was always on time. I even had to call him a couple of times to ask him, why you didn't cash that check yet? Did you get the check? Is something wrong?
Yeah, Herb has so many things going on, and he's trying to help so many people that, sometimes he gets, lost in all the things that he's doing to help people. Now, let me... we're going to go into a break because Herb is about to come in a minute. I know he came down here from Wayne County like Superman, but that's what he does. He's a superhero to a lot of people, and I'm sure superhero to you.
Yes, he is. He's a blessing to me.
Absolutely.
Definitely a blessing.
So we're going to go into a break right now, and then when we come out, you'll be interviewed by the one and only Herb Strather.
Amen.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned. Now, if you're listening right now, make sure that you let people know to tune in to, you're on Detroit Talk Radio Live, but also they can go into Facebook. We'll be streaming from Facebook in about 5 minutes, so let them know to go ahead and log on to their Herb Strather Facebook page and catch Herb Strather Live. We'll be back in a minute. Very good.
Today is Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, June the 6th. And it's a very special day. I mean, it's a very important day because the 7th is the last day you can pay your property taxes. And right now, there's about 14,700 people scheduled to lose their homes tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4:30, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed here in Detroit because a lot of homes are going to be lost. So emotional to me. I want to tell you, it's a very emotional thing. So I've been downtown at the city-county building. At the county building at 400 Monroe in Detroit, Michigan, downtown, saving homes. I've got about 20 of them I'm trying to save today. And as I was leaving out, it was kind of funny that I was going to go live on Facebook. And I saw my teacher in line, and she said, "Herb, I don't want to be on Facebook." I said, "Okay." So I did announce at that time, I said, "Listen, how many of you know that if you have below a certain income that you do not have to pay property taxes?" And the most amazing thing that nobody in line knew it. And I told them it was 100 years old. So that's why we change in history. And, our proof has got to be in the pudding. And so I'm so happy to have with me here today someone whose life we have changed, because even if you just change one or two or three, that's worth doing in life because they would impact others and pass it on. And I have here Deborah Brown, who's been our guest already, been talking to John.
Oh, yes.
Deborah,
Hello.
you're a happy lady.
I'm a very happy lady.
She's happy for a lot of reasons. She's a very lucky lady, too, I want to tell you. Can I tell you hit the lottery?
Go ahead.
I already told him. But look at this, y'all. Guess what the lottery number was she hit? 0000. Think about that. 4 zeros. 4 zeros. And earlier in the day, it came 0090. She says, "I'm going to play all 4 zeros. What's the odds of 7 out of 8 numbers being zeros? And what's the odds of all 4? Have all zeros ever came in history?
I think once before last year it came out like that.
All
Yeah.
zeros.
All zeros, and then it came out triple zeros in the 3-digit.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go play 1111 today.
Okay.
Okay, so zeros come out, 1 is next. But, it's just, if you're good things happen to you.
That's right.
And Deborah, I'm just so happy. We took and saved her, but we did ourselves a great favor too. Listen, everyone, you have a chance to have a double bottom line. You know what that means? That you can change history, you can help someone, and you can help yourself. Now, so you can understand how this goes. When you have a tax auction or even a sheriff's sale, a mortgage foreclosure, the banks that foreclose on the homes are getting fully reimbursed if they're FHA. Or if they are not FHA, they get 97% reimbursed for their losses. 97%. Now I want you to follow this. So if a house is $100,000, the bank will sell the house somewhere between $1,000 and $15,000. Between 1 to 15%. Now, the homeowner that's losing a home have no idea that their house is going to go from $1,000 to $15,000. And even if they did know it, they may not be able to do anything about it because once you're in foreclosure, you have to wait 2 years before you can even refinance. You're prohibited from getting a Fannie Mae or a HUD mortgage for 2 years. And some lenders make you wait 3 years. But we are aware of the fact that these homes are being sold because we study this, and this is what we do. We help people, and we leverage real estate, and we find the opportunity. So we have a win-win. We may go down and buy a house for $1,000, $2,000, and we go to the homeowner, and we typically like to be able to give it back to the homeowner for 50%. But we always like to ask the homeowner what is that they want to buy it back for, and if it's a reasonable amount, then we would go for the ride. Now, so here's a very live example. Miss Brown, Deborah Brown, her home, Deborah, I don't remember quite what we paid, but let's say we paid $2,000.
Right.
Okay. Now, when we came out and knocked on her door, Strather Academy students knocked and said, "From Strather Academy, we would like to help you," and they essentially knocked on her door. And she says, "You'd like to be helped." And you came into the office, right?
Yes, I came into the office.
So now, these are my Facebook friends, and they haven't quite heard the first part of it. Tell us what happened. We brought you into the office, and just kind of explain it in your words one more time.
Well, once I came into the office, strategy office, we sit down and we introduce ourselves, who we was, and you explained it to me that you here to help me save my home. And if I wanted to live in it, you was going to make sure I live in the home. And you asked me the simple question is, how much do I want to pay my home that I could stay in? And I said $10,000. You say, well, how much percentage rate do you want to pay? And I said 2%.
I had to swallow after that 2%. You understand?
That was my suggestion, 2%. And you was like, okay, 2%. You typed it in. You never said anything negative. You just kept on typing. And then you said, I want you to tell me the amount you think you can afford every month. Do not say something you can't afford and you get behind just what you can afford. And I said $250 a month. And you agreed with that. You typed that in.
So that is exactly what happened, my Facebook friends and my optimists, my students, my constituents that follow me. That's exactly what happened. We did the note exactly how she wanted it, and we made 500%. But she don't care if we made 500%. You know why? Because she owed $36,000, and then when she left my office, she had her house back.
Yes.
And she only owed $10,000. And she was only paying $250. I don't know what your payment was earlier, but it was much more than $250.
Oh, it was like, paying the mortgage, it was almost $700 and some dollars a month.
Okay, so she couldn't afford it. She lost it. Right. Now, it's no use of us funding something that someone can't pay because we're back in the same situation. But look at what happens. The bank got fully reimbursed, so they didn't take a loss. She went from $36,700 payment and probably 6 or 7% interest rate,
right,
down to $10,000 with a 2% interest rate and a $250 payment. And we bought something for, say, $2,000, and that's on a good day. It may have been less than that, but let's say it was $2,000. It wasn't certainly one more than $2,000. And we getting $250 a month is $3,000 a year. So we get 150% return because we bought it so cheaply. And I don't quite remember the exact number, but I know we wouldn't have paid very much because they were giving them away free. So we were able to buy the home, save that equity, give it back to the homeowner, and give it to her exactly what she wanted. Now, suppose she came back and said she would pay $25,000. I would have lowered it. I would have said, no, that's too much.
Right.
I would have lowered it down to half. I would have lowered it down to $18,000. But she said 10, and I said, you know what, that's fair enough. That means we must have paid $1,000 or something. In other words, we paid her just a little bitty tiny money for the house.
Right.
I got to go back and look at it. So what I am suggesting to you that are listening, if you want to help someone, you can do this. Now, she has never, ever missed a payment. She has never, ever been a day late. I have taken her checks and put them in my pocket, and they stayed in my drawer at my house, and she called and said, you know, you haven't cashed this check. I said, well, you know, let me find it. So I go find it in a suit pocket someplace. Now, oh, yeah, here goes this check. But she had to call me, Mr. Strather. You have not cashed the check. And you did it more than once.
I did it way more than once, about at least 3 or 4 times. Like, where you at? What you doing?
I never worried about it. You know, she'd come up and she would come bring the check in. You know, oh, no, you would mail them most of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was always mailing them in.
Yeah, she would mail them in. I would open them up and stuff. So this is what I'm trying to say. You can take and help someone, and this is not unusual. Almost every single transaction we do with the homeowners follow a similar amount. Now, here's some good thing. At Strather Academy, you are required to help someone to graduate. You are required to buy real estate. You are required to leverage real estate. And in this case, this is leveraging very well. You know, you bought a very nice home. Now, you paid cash, $2,000, but you could have put a mortgage on it. Now, a mortgage of 10 would have been impractical. It would have been such a small amount. But let's say if it was a larger deal. Say if they owed $80,000 and you was able to buy it back for $10,000. And they were going to buy it back from you for $40,000, which is half. They owed 80, they buy it back for 40, you buy it for 10. So you can just turn around and put a mortgage on it. You can enter a purchase agreement with the seller, follow me, put a mortgage on that, process a mortgage, put a mortgage, and not put any money in. And take out $15,000 or $20,000 and then give the homeowner some of that money. That would make them really happy. We're doing that right now. We're giving the homeowner some of the money. And I'm going to explain to you this deal because I'm going to have this gentleman on the show next week, and I want you to really, really listen. You know what? I think I'm going on a vacation next week. Well, I'll try to go after the show. How's that? Oh. So, this is a chance, in this case when I'm just give you an example. If someone owes $80,000 and their home is foreclosed and it sells for $10,000 at the auction, which is very practical because they sell between 10 and 15% now most of the homes that go to the mortgage foreclosure. The sheriff's sale is what we call them. And we're down there in great number. You know, my class is up in the audience and we're there. We will have already have visited many of these homeowners already. Sometimes they give us the deed before the auction. But I'm going to tell you how we do it. And just to finish this example off, and then I'm going to bring, after this is over, I'm going to come back with another strong example for you of something we're doing right now. And you can even buy it. How's that? You can participate. But if you take a $80,000 home, a home that had $80,000 mortgage, foreclosed, go for 10, and you do not even bid at it at the auction, even if somebody else bid on it, so what? The homeowner has a 6-month redemption right. In 6 months, you can approach the homeowner, get a mortgage. Get a mortgage, pay off the $10,000 plus the interest that is owed. And then you could also, at that point, if you got a big enough mortgage, maybe you could give the homeowner some money. And that would make them very happy. A $40,000 mortgage at a 6% debt constant, or a $40,000 mortgage at 4.25% interest, is only $200 a month. So somebody with an $80,000 mortgage may be paying $700 or $800 or $900. So now you can turn around and make their payment $400. Cut their payment in half, give them some cash, pull out $15,000, $10,000 to $15,000 yourself, tax free. Help someone go to heaven, get rich at the same time.
Amen.
That's what we're talking about. So hang on, we'll be back to you. And remember, Strather Academy, where the dewdrops of mercy shine bright, is enrolling this week. So tomorrow, 6 o'clock, or the 12th class begins. So hang on, call all your friends. Tell them they gotta listen to this Facebook. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Everybody, I am so happy. This is Herb Strather. We're back. I'm here with Deborah Brown.
Yes.
She's a constituent. She is a homeowner that we was able to help rescue, and she in turn was one of the greatest we've ever had. She paid her payment always on and before the due date, never late. She always called me because I would lose the payment, and she insisted that I find it, or did I need her to send me another check. And she paid her mortgage off early, and she's here now. And Deborah, do you have anything that you would like to say to the constituents? I don't want to put no words in your mouth.
Of
Now,
course
just
not.
whatever you would like to say.
Okay, of course not. I would like for everybody that's going through the same situation I was, whether you're losing your house to mortgage or foreclosure or back taxes, take this chance, sit down, think about it, come out, make a phone call to Herb Strather, talk to someone in their office, and I guarantee you, you will not regret it. It's going to make a big difference between you and your family having a place to stay for the rest of your life. Don't wait until the last minute, and don't think this is some kind of hope, because it's not. It's really real. It's a gift from God, so never look a good horse in the mouth. Believe in Herb's strategy and his people, and they will stand by you 100%.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you so
right.
much.
Yeah.
And everyone, I thank you all so much. We're going to take a break, and we'll take a break. It's only going to be for a minute, so we're going to change sets a little bit, because Deborah have a few things that she have to do, and I just wanted you to hear from her directly. And I'm going to be back, and I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. It's going to be an opportunity for you to invest, for you to get involved with some homeowners, and to help just like we helped Deborah. You can help too. We'll be back. Hang on. Hang on, Facebook. You got any questions? Call John. John, boy, that was really refreshing with Deborah Brown, the homeowner that we helped and rescued, and we did very well. And just if anybody's just joining me, just so you understand, we invested the most $2,000. We invested somewhere between $500 and $2,000. And we gave her a land contract back for $10,000. At the time, we wasn't even fully aware ourselves that she didn't have to pay property taxes, but she did. Now she knows she doesn't have to pay it. Every day we get smarter ourselves too, so right now we're taking her off the property tax roll, so she will not have to pay any property tax, and the home is free and clear. God is so good, because she doesn't make enough money. If you have a child, you can make up to $19,000 and not have to pay one penny. If you have two children, a family of three, it's up to $23,400, I believe. or it could be a little bit more. I actually have the schedule, but you could go online at www.detroit website, and you can see it, the homeowner tax exemption program. You could just go see it, and it's and you can see the different schedules. So find out. But here's what I want to do. Here's the good part about this. We're changing history. I'm very emotional. I feel like crying almost sometimes, because I think we're making a significant difference. I've done almost everything I wanted to do in life. Just been around the world. Just lived in a penthouse, had limos, all kind of stuff. But right now, I've never maybe enjoyed my life so much. I'm really enjoying it tremendously now because I'm helping people. And making money. Let's get that straight. I'm still a capitalist. I like making money. And that's the good part. I'm a capitalist that's a philanthropist. In order to be a philanthropist, you have to be a capitalist. But what's so interesting, I can do them both at the same time. Can you believe it? You can be a capitalist and a philanthropist at the exact same time. I'm a capitalist because I make 500% on my money. I'm a philanthropist because I turn around and help someone and reduce their property taxes, reduce their mortgage, give them what they want. She owed $36,000 on her house. I reduced it to $10,000. She owed $36,000, 7% interest. She was paying almost $700. When she met me, she ended up with a land contract at $10,000 at 2% interest, paying $250 a month. This is the good life, everybody. And I'll do it over and over and over. Obviously, I would do it over and over and over, and you would too if you put in 2,000 and made 10, or maybe even 1,000 and made 10, or maybe even $500 and made 10. And knowing me, it was probably closer to the latter. But the thing that is, we show you how to do that at Strather Academy. We also show you how to do it with no money. Just put a mortgage on it. Structure it and put a mortgage on it. Look, if you're looking for a home to buy, now's the time to buy it. We teach at NACA, NACA. Go to the website and register. And next Saturday is going to be at my office. NACA is going to be at my office. Oh, gee, will I be on vacation? Uh-oh, I better look at that. I didn't even think about that. But go there and register anyway. It's going to be at my office. You can buy a home without a down payment, without closing costs, and without credit. You can buy a home if you're on Section 8. You have a Section 8 rental, you could convert it to a Section 8 housing certificate. This is the good life. There's never, ever, 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 ever been times like that, like it is now. And DAR, all of our DAR members, Detroit Association of Realtors, you are invited to come to the class gratuitously the first time anyway, and you have a DAR discount. If you are a real estate agent, it is very important that you understand the structure so you can help others do it. Now listen, I know a lot of people is used to putting money down, but we don't believe in putting money down. We believe in taking money out. Just the exact opposite. Because I want to ask you a question. If there's so much buoyancy in the marketplace, people don't really know what values are. They don't know whether the property is $25,000, $50,000, or $75,000. And it's true because two homes exactly alike, if one have an FHA mortgage, it'll foreclose for $75,000. If it doesn't have an FHA mortgage, it'll foreclose for $10,000 or $25,000. So which is the real value? Is it the 10 or the 25 or the 75? Now, the people who live in the community certainly hope it's the 75 or the 100 because that's how much they owe. When rents went, when the values plummeted, rents plummeted, everything plummeted, interest rates plummeted. Now rents are more than what they were 10 years ago. Demand is much higher. There's no vacancies. There's no houses for sale. Have you seen any for sale signs? The answer is no. Let me answer it for you. So then how could property values be low? How could you have a high demand, no immediate inventory, and a low price? That's not possible. When interest rates go low, it jumps the price up. Interest rate is low, high prices are half. It's all psychological and regulatory. What do you mean regulatory? It's regulatory, everybody, because of Dodd-Frank. It says to the appraiser, you must appraise this house based on the last comps. Well, the last comps is what the bank created by dumping the properties. This is a good life. And I want you to join me. I'm looking for some constituents. And I'm looking for some young people, too. And speaking of that, I want to tell you this summer we have our YES program, Young Entrepreneurs Saturday Series, from 10:30 to 1:30. You drop your kid off. I think it's 10 o'clock to 1:30. Just go to 313-444-9691 and just tell us you're going to be there. Register your kid from 16 to 20 or somewhere around there. One young lady said, my daughter is 12 and I want her in your program. I laughed. I said, okay, honey, you understand. Well, we're looking for 30 kids we're going to take. In the first 30, we got about 15 now. So register your kids and join. And you become involved. Don't you want to get involved and get an education? How about if you don't have any money? We're going to show you how to make money without cash, credit, or collateral. Think about this. No cash, no credit, no collateral. And we'll show you how to make money. You know how you're going to make the money? With a cell phone, a computer, and a car with gas. In other words, you have to either find the deal, fund the deal, finance the deal, fix the deal, or flip it. Find, fund, finance, fix, or flip. So in other words, you got to either have time to invest, or you got to have credit and money, or you got to have skills with your hand to fix the property up. I'll sell somebody a house. I'll give you the material, you do the work, that's your down payment. Anybody want to buy a house like that? Why don't you come join Strather Academy where you can take and we show you where to find properties for pennies on the dollar. And you can help keep homeowners in. Why would you buy an empty house? You say, well, I'm going to go over to the land bank and buy me an empty house. I'm not beating up the land bank, but I'd rather buy a house with a homeowner in it. I'd rather buy a house to help someone. I'd rather buy a house to make someone cry. Then I'll start crying. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about the good life. I enjoy the good life. I don't mean to brag and I don't mean to boast, but I like real butter on my breakfast toast. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about real butter. We're talking about the real things of life. Now that I've preached, I got a guest. She's coming up. I don't want to frighten her too much. You understand what I mean? I'm here preaching. But she's a wonderful lady. Her name is Lynda Mcghee. And she has a heart of gold. A heart of gold. And she's a street fighter. And she loves kids. She's an advocate for youth like me. And she's a community developer. She took my class a while ago. So, John?
Yes, sir.
Is Lynda here yet?
Yeah, Lynda is on her way.
Oh, she's on the way. She's not here yet.
Yep.
So let me just give you a little bit of commercial. How can you join Strather Academy? Strather Academy is having this orientation for the class beginning June the 12th. June the 12th is the first day of class, but we have orientation on Thursday. This Thursday, we have orientation from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. That's tomorrow. John, why aren't we doing this on Saturday? We don't have anything on Saturday, right? I tell you what. If some of you would like to come in Saturday, at least a half a dozen of you call me, and I'm going to ask you to call me personally. John, can I give my cell number?
Yeah, please do.
Listen, I'm giving my cell number out to those who want to join me Saturday. Now, don't give nobody my number. You understand? You got it because you're lucky. 313, because you're listening and you're lucky. 313-407-4930. And if 6 of you text me and say, Herb, I'm available from 1 to 2:30. I'll set aside 1 to 2:30 this Saturday. About 6 or 8 of you, and you can come free and talk to me. Isn't that something about how we can join together and change history? Here's the part that's worth crying about. Now let's listen to this. You know, if we don't do something, we're going to become disenfranchised. Obviously, that is really happening now because the result of our bankruptcy and the perceived opportunities and indeed the real opportunities because of Dodd-Frank, the bank actions, and all kind of stuff, our prices are very, very low. The demand is very, very high. So it has created a condition nowhere else in the world. And everybody in the world consequently are coming to here to buy real estate. Most of the real estate, over 70% of it, is bought by outsiders. Can you imagine any city in the world where 70% of the real estate is bought by outsiders? Now, if you got some fabulous place like New York and you got the high-end condos and stuff, people around the world do buy them. But I'm talking about just our neighborhoods, our regular houses up and down our street. 70% because they don't believe it. They say, listen, houses are cheaper than cars. They say, you got to be joking. They say, yeah, go to Detroit, you can get a house cheaper than a car. And they're right. So we've got to put our foot in and change history. Whew. This is something, I just kind of gets emotional about it. We are changing history. When the history is written, they will say there was a group of people They gathered around and they got together and they changed history. The reason they changed history because they were able to notify enough people and let them understand the opportunities that they did not otherwise understand. People losing their house now are not telling anybody. They're at your church. Tell everybody. They're at your church. Why don't you on your Facebook, why don't you like this and send this out to everybody you can and let everybody know that if you're losing your home, it's good news. Now, don't go lose your home on purpose, all right? Because it's not always a guarantee. You understand? But 90% of the time, it's great news. You understand? In other words, the good news outweighs the bad news. Now, it's bad news that you can't refinance right now, but your credit don't take a tremendous hit. It might take some hit, but not a tremendous. If you got a 750 credit score and you went into foreclosure, you'll still have a credit-worthy score over 680 after the foreclosure. You will not be able to buy real estate and finance it. You cannot finance real estate through using anything that's Fannie Mae programmable, but you can buy on land contract and you can buy otherwise. Hard money, you can still take and buy. But this is an excellent opportunity. It's not a time to be sad. It's a time to be glad. So everybody, very simply go to 313-444-9691 and let us know you're going to join Strather Academy. And if you want to come to my class Saturday and sit down, 6 of you, I'll take the first 6 to call. The first 6 people to call me got a deal. 313-407-4930. And you could just text. So I love everybody, and give us a few minutes and we're going to be back with Lynda. Hey everybody, this is Herb Strather and Lynda, who's coming to join us. She went to the wrong building. John gave her the wrong address.
There's 2 Penobscot buildings in Detroit, obviously. Well, there's actually 4 in this corner because it was made in 4 different phases, right?
I know, but if she entered one way, she could get
to the other one. I don't know what happened, but anyway,
I'll take the
blame.
This you come from Ford Street, Congress Street.
I have no problem taking the blame.
So anyway, John did something really fabulous this week.
Yeah,
John,
it was this week.
I don't think you want to maybe not give out the address.
We'll not give out the address.
But John, go for it. This is John Hill, you all. John is the director of marketing, and he's my main man. What's your real title, John? You hold a lot of titles.
Yeah, let's just say media outreach. Let's say outreach. Okay. Yeah. Let's just say that media outreach.
But he wasn't satisfied with that. He went and got his real estate license and started doing deals. He said, Herb, I'm up here talking to everybody, and everybody making money. Excuse me, time out. I'm getting my license because I said, John, just work on media. No. I'm getting my license.
We gonna
John
make a lot of money.
did not listen to me. He went out and got his license. John, tell me about your first deal this week.
Well, so what I did is, it's funny that if you listen to the things, I've been listening to you talk, Herb, over and over and over and over again for about the past 3 years. And you always say, if you just do what I say, just do what I say. So Herb always talks about finding the properties, and you have the most power when you find the properties. Right. And so you take control of the deal, and as long as you take control of the deal. So I always drive up and down street, and I'm always looking at properties, but this day I decided to drive down this one street in North Rosedale Park.
North Rosedale Park, a good area. Make the notes. A good area first.
A very good area. So I'm looking for, and I love this time of the year because the people who don't or own homes or the unoccupied homes are growing grass.
And you can tell.
And you can tell who's there. So that's, if you got tall grass, that's a good indication that nobody lives there.
And what else may be a good indication nobody's there, John? Because a lot of times the neighbors cut the grass.
Yeah, sometimes. So you look for maybe they have not curtains in the house, but they might have no shades or nothing in the house, or they might just have some sheets, tied over the house, especially in the good neighborhood. There's a couple in Rosedale right now with just sheets tied on it. I know they're empty and they have tall grass.
And also, John, they might have newspapers on
newspapers in the front.
Right.
Weeds in the cracks. They're grown up. If you look in the backyard and you see weeds growing up in the back, that's a good indication that cars aren't driving back and forth because those weeds grow. It's just the little things. In the wintertime, it's when the snow is not shoveled, and you see the snow not shoveled for a while. But this particular house, I saw a couple houses on that block, which I will not say because we're going to claim those houses next. But that were had tall grass, but this house had a for sale sign in front. And so once I saw the for sale sign in front, I came back to the office and let you know about it, told you that it's a beautiful house. We checked into it, found out that it had only been up for 1 day. So the day I drove by was the day that the house went up.
So move fast.
Move fast.
When HUD or somebody brings something out at 9 o'clock in the morning, get your offer in by 10 o'clock. Don't worry about inspecting it and doing that. You got time to do that. Have your purchase agreement already in form, and all of the students just go to Student Corner on Strather Academy and download the purchase agreements that you're going to use.
Right. And so then I went on from there and found out that they only had 11 hours. One of your agents told us that we only had 11 hours to make a bid on the house. So we made the bid on the house and then tied the house up.
So I think you can talk about the money, yes?
Let's just say.
Well, let's say, as a multiple, the price you paid, what do you think the value of the house is? Twice, 3 times?
At least 3 times, if not 4 times.
In other words, if John paid $40,000 for the house, he's suggesting that the house would be worth somewhere around $150,000, and those ratios are pretty close. Now, I mean, that's very interesting. The fact that you could get something pretty cheap in Rosedale Park in itself is an amazing thing. But don't forget, lenders are simply getting reimbursed fully. They don't care. John, you bought a house in Rosedale Park. Your first home you bought was for how much?
Right, yeah. Me and my wife bought a house in Rosedale Park. It was $15,000.
$14,900.
$14,900. Actually,
Okay.
It came out, the way you worked out the deal and the structured the deal, it came out to $14,300 because they paid the taxes for that.
Okay, so it came out to $14,300.
Right.
And you put a little money in, renovated, you put some funds in. What is the house worth now?
We got a ding the other day. It's $96,000.
96, and how long ago was that?
Oh, about 16 months ago.
About 16 months ago. Now, also the house next door to that house, right?
Yes, the house next door. We put a bid in for 21, but the people won out on the bid, and I mean us, Herb. The people won out next door. I mean, they put a bid in for $23,000. They took about 4 months to fix it up. They fixed it up in midwinter. That house sold about 2 weeks ago for $199,000. They may have put $40,000 to $50,000 in it. So you talk about buying it for $23,000, $40,000. You have $63,000. You sell the house for $199,000. You do the math.
That is really great.
In 4 months.
We're talking about buying homes, improving them, and flipping them, and that's great. So whether you're buying them, improving them, and flipping them, or whether you're directing with the homeowners, which is what I really like the most, because somebody's already in the house, I don't have to fix it up. We might have to fix it up, but we can provide that and help them out in the acquisition structure. And you get rent day one. Never a day you miss. You just start day one. And you can buy it without any cash. Now, if you're going to buy and flip, I like to do what John did, buying it for 25% of the value and being able to put very little money in, because that house needs very little money, right, John?
Very little money.
And
to
I've
fix
seen
up.
the pictures, and it's fabulous. You understand? Everybody around the office was a little jealous of John. I said, don't be player hating now. You understand? There wasn't really player hating, because our office do quite well, and everybody get their shot, right, John?
Right, absolutely.
Everybody becomes a hero at some point.
But you always say, Herb, to buy homes or look for homes where you live, work, pray, or play. And, that's the area that I grew up in. And, once this deal is successful and completed, I should say, I'm going to tell everybody I know, not only about Strather Academy, but all my friends and family, I'm going to try to get them to invest, because there's a lot of properties here in Detroit. We did the deal on, as far as my wife's deal. We did that deal, but after this, I'm about to explode and start utilizing these flips, if you will, to make money.
That's wonderful. Now, Facebook, you can help too. I cannot do this by ourselves, but just a few of us cannot. We got 70,000 vacant homes. We got 14,000 people losing their homes tomorrow. That may will wither down to about 12,000, because the lines over to Wayne County is very, very long. And when I finish this with Lynda, and I see some pretty fingernails, so she must be here
Lynda
now,
just came in.
I'm going to go back over to Wayne County in the line, and I'm going to go Facebook Live, and I want you to stay around, and you call all your friends and tell Herb is going live again later today, and make sure you listen in, because I'm going to ask everybody right out, did you know that you don't have to pay property taxes? Now, I did that earlier, and the sheriff,
You're right. You got to watch out. You got to handle your deals before
he
didn't
looked
know.
at me and he was looking around like, "What are you doing here, man?"
Right.
And I kind of wrapped up a little bit, like I see y'all later. You understand?
Right.
Over here,
You got to make sure.
I didn't want to go to jail because he may ask for my driver's license.
Right. You don't want that. And let me just say this, Herb. People that are listening right now, you still have time. You have until the 7th to, if your home is in trouble and in foreclosure.
You got 28 hours.
You got 28 hours. Now, there's some of you, if you're nervous, still check it out. There's some of you who you might have been enrolled in a program, like I was checking out a property that was enrolled in the ERSPA program. Well, that house just automatically got rolled over, so it's in no danger of being in foreclosure. And the lady mentioned that also, that some houses just got rolled over and they're in no danger. But if you find out your house is in foreclosure, you need to call, what's that number, Herb?
Our number?
Yeah. They're not the four. Well, you can call 446-9691.
444-9691 is what you call. Let me explain something else to you. In a third of the houses that we've saved, and we've saved about 50 houses in the last couple of days, some of the payments are only $50. So you may owe $4,000, and we could cut a deal with $50 down and 60 equal payments to pay it off, and then you may not have any more property taxes because you was not required to pay property taxes in the first place. Detroit is 90% of you do not know, 90% of you have no idea that you don't have to pay property taxes, and you're paying it. The 40% of Detroiters probably are eligible for some form of tax relief. Now, if everybody did that, I guess Detroit would be in a pretty tight budgetary thing. But don't forget, we have skyrocketing values anyway, and we're adding to our tax base, and that's good. So we could, if you can't afford the house and you can't afford to do it, then I don't want you to lose it. Sell it. There's millenniums lining up to buy it, especially if you're off Woodward in some of the older traditional neighborhoods, 48206. 04, 02, 01, 14, 15, and 23, 28. These are 21. So most of the zip codes, all zip codes, yeah. Really, there's great opportunities. So we're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to bring on a very beautiful lady inside and out.
And I just want to say to Facebook friends, make sure that you let everybody know, share this, let everybody know to click in, tune in, that Herb's teaching people how to save the house. And we'll be talking, when Herb comes back up, he'll be talking about his YES program, which is going to teach kids how to buy real estate in Detroit, how to become entrepreneurs. And Lynda's an expert at that too, and how to get kids motivated and do the right thing.
All right. Now use your imagination a little bit. Okay, everybody, we're back. This is Herb Strather on Detroit Talk Radio Live, and I have a beautiful, beautiful guest. You know, there's some people in the world I like, and there's some people in the world I love. And Lynda Mcghee is one of those that I love.
Oh, thank you.
And she has a heart of gold. She's a youth advocate, and she's the real deal. You know what I mean? You can tell if somebody is emotional about something and they're the real deal. Lynda, thank you so much for joining us, dear.
Me. I really appreciate
Lynda, you were
this.
a student of mine many years ago, one of my first classes. Was it
Yes.
at Wayne County?
It was actually at the place on Grand River.
It was at
Yes.
Grand River. So
It was packed wall to wall. It was a great experience. I heard about it, I think, on the radio. I don't remember what show it was.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about it because
Yeah.
I had this interest for years but never
Right.
really acted on it.
Right.
And when I got there was so much information and so many people, and the excitement was generated by you. And, I mean, it was just overwhelming, the amount of information that we received. And I actually used that information to purchase some homes.
Well, that is great. Lynda, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, are you a Detroiter, first of all?
I am.
Are you east side or west side?
Well, I was born and raised on the west side.
Oh, born and raised on the west side. She's from the west side,
Yes.
y'all.
I went to Fitzgerald Elementary School.
Oh, really? On Green Line?
On Green Line, right by
Okay.
Mary Grove College. And then I went to Longfellow Middle School and then Cass Tech High School.
Okay. At Cass Tech, well, you know, most of the smarties, you know, they all went to Cass Tech, and they wouldn't let me near Cass Tech.
Oh, what high school did you go to?
I went to Ellis College, the School of Less Knowledge. No. Seriously, I went to Western High School, and I actually graduated as class president.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I was in speech therapy too. I couldn't talk good, but I did graduate as president of Western High School.
Wow.
Hey, Cowboys!
They
How's
must be
everybody
proud.
out there? Any Cowboys here? Give me a shout.
Yeah, they have to be proud.
So you are a lawyer?
I am. After Cass Tech, I went to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor.
Michigan?
And studied
you're a Michigan
communication.
lawyer. Oh,
And then
God.
I went to Wayne State for law school.
Oh, I
so now
see.
I've been practicing for about 23 years.
Go blue. You blue-blooded.
Yes,
You're a
I
lawyer.
am,
So
all
your
the way.
advocacy, how did you get like this?
Well, when I was at U of M, when I was at Wayne State, actually, I was interning at the juvenile court.
Yeah.
And I just needed the money at the time. I wasn't really looking for a career at the juvenile
Right.
court, but I had previously taught school.
Yeah.
And at teaching school, I learned a lot about kids that I didn't know before.
Yes.
And the struggles that they go through, and how some of them couldn't read and they didn't have the resources that I had when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So my heart went out to them, but I didn't really do anything about it.
Yes.
Well, then I went to law school and started interning, and I interned in the juvenile court for 4 years.
Oh, that was it.
And
man.
I advocated against children, really. I mean, the point of juvenile court is to try to help kids get rehabilitated.
Right.
But I was in the prosecutor's office, so we were prosecuting
Oh.
the children, and a lot of them went into placements, and I still didn't really fully understand how much neglect was involved with the children until years later, when I became a member of Michigan Children's Law Center, which is where I am now. So we represent children who are in foster care and those who have been abused. So now I can see the whole picture. These kids that I was getting in school that couldn't read or were acting out or didn't have clothing, a lot of them were really going through neglect and abuse at home.
Oh,
And
my
now I'm in a
God.
position years later, 20 years later, where I can really help those kids and we can identify them through our agency.
That is really something. I mean, me being a youth advocate, it just pulls emotionally at me so much just listening to you.
Yes, and I know that you're a member, not just a member, but a huge supporter of the Optimist Club.
I am.
And at one point, I was a member of the Optimist Club with my father.
Which one was that?
I think it was Central Detroit.
Oh, yes.
on Grand
Which
River.
was your dad?
David White, he's passed on. He passed away in
okay.
2013, but he spoke very highly of you.
Oh, thank
I always
you.
liked the Optimist Club, and I was I was the founder of a Joy Club.
Oh, really?
At Greater Grace
Now
Temple.
that makes sense.
Yes, I'm
that
the
makes
founder of a
sense.
Joy Club. So
A Joy Club is a junior optimist club, everyone.
Yes, and they were wonderful.
Oh,
We
my
ended
God.
up disbanding a couple years after we were founded because we couldn't generate enough support. At that
Okay.
time, people were being torn in a lot of different directions.
But
our
that's
kids
okay.
were great.
You impacted the lives of the kids. The club that sponsored me was the West Side Optimist Club of Detroit. They're not around no more.
Okay.
But they sponsored me, and I'm around, and I've built 150 Optimist Clubs. So
That's amazing.
you could have touched the lives of just one of those kids and inspired them enough and inspired them, and they might change the world.
That's right.
You know, so
That's
it's
what
not
we hope.
necessarily how long it is. You know, it's just to be active and to be around because hardly none of them live forever. Although we have had some clubs, like the Downtown Club, was born in 1921. It was an
Wow.
original Optimist Club, part of the original ones that joined together, and it's still here.
Wow, that's
And kudos to the Optimist Club of Downtown Detroit. They're soon be celebrating 100 years.
Wow.
Isn't
And
that
I'm
something?
I'm a firsthand observer of how much work goes into those children and how much advocacy.
Yes.
So you're right. It was a natural fit for me to be a
Yes,
part
there's
of the
no
Optimist
question
Club.
about it. So, you know, we like to join forces with you, Lynda. You know, I know you're part of Strather Academy, and I know that you're joining the class, right?
Yes, I am.
Lynda's going to join the class. She's
Excited
going to
about
come
it.
back again because there's so many programs that have changed and things have changed back
Yes.
then. Like right now, you know, a few years back, for example, the property tax program was off the hook. Right now, it is just, the prices are so huge, we hardly don't even pay attention to it anymore.
Okay.
So we're going out trying to buy the homes and save the homes before the auction. And we're focusing on the homeowners and trying to save their homes before the auction. We're focusing on the sheriff sales that our properties are going for a discount. That's where the real money is at right now.
Okay.
We're focusing on acquiring real estate using L3Cs, not a LLC, but a L3C, which is a half 501c3 and a half LLC. In other words, it's a charity. It's a low-profit limited liability company, and there's certain great advantages. Depending on how the ownership structure, it can be completely tax-free in many cases.
Wonderful.
And one of the greatest things about it is, you know, foundations have to disperse 5% of their assets each year. A total of 5% they must. They got $100 million fund. They have to spend $5 million, and they, you know, this is for charity. Well, under the L3C, they can invest, and they can get actually a return back.
Okay.
They're allowed to invest as part of their 5%. Lynda, we have buying my church. We're buying a few buildings now, and one of the things that the purpose that we wanted to do was to take one of those buildings for ex-offenders and another building we wanted to take for to mix it up very much for young people who's coming out of the foster care program.
Oh, well, that's right up my alley.
Well, do you need a building?
We absolutely need. Is that for residential purposes or to meet?
Residential.
We-
Tell me what you need.
Okay, well, with Michigan Children's Law Center, that we have 25 attorneys who represent children.
25.
Yes, we have 25 attorneys who represent the children in the court system. So we
And
have.
you advocate for the children.
We advocate for the children
need
in front
that
of the
many?
judge. Yes, there are,
Gosh, honey.
and we're only one of 3 organizations. So our
You mean there's that
organization
many
has
kids
25.
coming before us?
There are a lot of.
Oh,
we
my
we
God.
have about 3,000 kids who are aging out. So and there are 12,000 children that are in foster care. There's more
In
than
Detroit?
12,000 in the Wayne County area. There's
Oh
more than
my
12,000
gosh.
children who are in the foster care system. So a part of what we do in advocating for them is not only to try to reunite them with their parents, because that's a big part of it. We want the parents to have their children.
That's huge. I can
I mean,
see
and that's
that.
not our responsibility, but I think that we should definitely advocate for the families to remain intact.
No question.
No matter what's going on in the family. I believe every family is salvageable, but there are some things that you just can't get over. You know, if you have killed your child, then your other children are probably going to be permanent court wards and go up for adoption if
Right.
we cannot find relatives. So the social workers in the state, they do the best they can to find these relatives, and the relatives sometimes come forward, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to really search a long time. And the children who are older, who are in foster care, sometimes tend to age out before they're ever adopted. So once they turn 16 years old, we've created an aging out unit, which helps those children who are 16 years old and up, so that when they age out, they should be placed in a home. And our goal is
When you say a home, what kind of home? With parents?
well, no,
No?
usually their parents' rights have either been terminated or the
Okay.
parents just are not going to get it together.
Okay.
And the rights have not been
And
terminated.
they don't want to stay with anybody else anymore.
There's probably not a relative that will take them or that's suitable, because the
Okay.
relative has to be suitable to have
Okay.
that child in their home.
Okay.
So these children tend to go into residential facilities, and that's the last place you want. You
Like
want a
group
foster
homes.
child, a group home, or someplace where a child who's committed criminal offenses would go. And the foster children who are in the system through no fault of their own
Right.
do not need to be in a residential
So
facility.
what's a good idea? What should we do for them? What would you like for our community?
Housing.
I hope y'all are listening. This is very, very important. These are our kids.
Yes, housing is a huge issue.
So when you say housing, what kind of housing? Apartment building?
An apartment building would be absolutely
Can they live by
ideal.
themselves?
Yeah, most of them
At
can.
16?
Well, that's the goal of our unit, is to prepare them to live by themselves. A lot of our children are already in supervised independent living or independent living. They've been assessed by the social workers they've been determined to be independent enough to live on their own. But they still, in the system,
So
still
let's
have
say
a
if we
worker.
had an apartment building was next to our church, for example.
Yes.
That could be an ideal setting, couldn't it?
That would be ideal.
So in other words, they live there now. Would they 2 live per unit or would 1 per unit?
1 bedroom in each unit?
Yes.
You could live 2 could live in each unit.
I see. Now, is there any financial support for them?
And that is the challenge that we have. There is financial support up until the time that they turn 21 years old.
Okay.
And then, our goal is to make sure that they are able to support themselves once the
Post
state
21.
exactly.
And that's expected. I mean, they're
Yes.
grown. They've had, very challenging life. But what we need to do is to make sure we can prepare them somehow
Yes.
to move on. Because sometimes their disadvantages become advantages. Because if they
Absolutely.
overcome that, they are now a superstar.
Right.
And
And
they
they
have
can
super
reach back
skills.
and
And
help other
they
ones.
say, gee, I would have never been a superstar unless I had some super disadvantages that I had to overcome. In other words, they
Right.
were forced to be a superstar by just overcoming their
Absolutely.
obstacles.
Yes.
So I want to help, and I've never really got to the bottom line how this. And I'm glad I'm having this interview. I hope y'all are enjoying this and listening, because I'm talking to someone that's one of my favorite people in the world. Lynda,
Thank you.
so I want to help. So what is it that you need? You need some apartment buildings?
We do. I would not want us to get overwhelmed.
Okay.
So I would like to sit down and strategize
Okay.
with the people who are with us,
Right.
and trying to help the aging out population.
Now, is it possible that there could be a building that's kind of structured for the aging out population and not for those who've been in the criminal system, and maybe even having a common area?
Oh, absolutely.
How
That's what
about
we're
a big
looking for.
mansion?
with multiple bedrooms. Like
Yeah,
6 or
like
7
say if
bedrooms.
I bought a big house in Palmer Woods with 8 bedrooms.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Would it?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I am so serious. People have done that because our children who are 16 and up qualify for supervised independent living.
Oh my
So they
God!
live in
I like
homes.
this idea. Let me ask you a question. Here's the capitalist part of me, everybody. How much money is in it, too, by the way? I'm interested.
Now that we need a social worker to come on with us to tell us how much the money
Per
is
diem.
involved.
There's a per diem payment.
There is, and it can go from $400 on up. So I don't know what the on up, what qualifies as a young person.
But
to
there's
receive
usually a
more than
daily
that.
rate, like it may be $30 a day, for
Right.
example, or
Yeah.
something like that. For a per diem amount to cover them and to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I like you to do. I like to collaborate with you.
Okay.
I have a house right now that's listed in Palmer Woods with 6 bedrooms.
Okay.
I have another one that I like that has 8 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I get this house and I adopt me a whole bunch of young kids that have challenges. You understand? Or we'll work it out. Maybe
Right.
there's a bleeding heart. Maybe some of you would like to help. Maybe some of you would like to help change the world, to change the lives of a kid. Maybe some of you had a challenging time and would like to become part of this. Here is where the dewdrops of mercy shine bright. Where we can help someone and change a life. And I am so happy you're here, and I'm so happy that this is a unique moment for our colleagues to be listening in. Because I am committed, me and you, let's go to lunch, let's talk about this, let's join forces.
I would love to do that.
And as a result of joining forces, what's going to happen? We're going to end up with a facility for the young people to change their life. Because they've suffered,
Yes.
and now all of a sudden they're fixing to get rewarded. They're going to come live in a palace.
Oh, that
You
would be
understand?
beautiful.
We're going to let them live a very, very good life. Now let me tell you something. You see how we're backing into this? We're really backing in about how can we help the kids, and it might end up with a big palace all of a sudden, fabulous surroundings, and it'd be of great benefit to me. I say, look at this house. Will you look at it? Because I wouldn't otherwise buy a mansion because, I'm single. Why would I roam around in the mansion all day? So the ideal is all of a sudden, maybe I could help kids. Now, do you think maybe we could have the boys and the girls, or should it be just one
They
gender?
would probably need to be separated. There are some homes that have both genders, and there are a lot of more issues
Yes.
in the homes that I'm
Yeah,
aware
because
of.
they may like each other.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
lot
I can
more
understand that. So I would probably deal with boys. I would think, that would maybe if I can mentor a whole group of young men
Oh,
to
that
show
would
them
be
how
amazing.
how to do it. And some of you may want to do it with girls. You say, look here, let's buy one across the street from each other. Then we could watch it. Make sure that this is great, Lynda.
That would be a wonderful pilot. And I do want to correct something that I said. I
Yes.
said 12,000, over 12,000
Yes.
young people
Yes.
in foster care in Wayne County. That's in the state of Michigan.
In the state of
That's
Michigan,
the entire
okay.
state of Michigan.
In the entire
yes.
state of Michigan. Well, that is still a big number.
It's a lot.
How
That's a
many
lot
do
of
you think is
people.
in Wayne County?
Most of them are, I believe 70% of them are in Wayne County.
Wow. And there's
And
more
this is a
entering
big
the
state.
system all every day.
All the time, yes.
There's
As
some
they age
exiting
out.
and as they edge out.
Yes.
So everyone, this is what the show is all about, where we could come together as a community and collaborate, and we got to fix ourselves. There's no cavalry coming. I mean, we have the skills and ability, and I know, in southeastern Michigan is one of the most philanthropic places in the United States. Only L.A. had more philanthropists or more philanthropic activities and donations than southeastern Michigan. Even during the difficult years, we were still on top. And this is in our hearts and in our souls, and I want you to bring it out and do it. It is not enough for us just to hope things change. I want you all to join us. 313-444-9691. Let me know you're going to join me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you my cell number, 313-407-4930. If you have a burning desire to change the world, I want you to join me. And you can come Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2:30, and we're just going to sit down and talk. Lynda, I thank you so much.
Thank you so
And we're
much.
asking all of you all to join us. And John, is there anything else we need to know?
Yeah, just if you could mention about the YES program one more time
Yes.
and how vital it is.
Lynda, we're going to have a YES program, Youth Entrepreneurial Series. seminars, Youth Entrepreneurial Seminar Series. And we figured this summer, starting June the 30th, every single Saturday, from 10 to 1, 10:30 to 1:30, or 10 to 1:30.
10 to 1, yeah.
10 to 1, parents can drop their kids off, go get their hair done, go shopping, do whatever they have to do. You know, got a lot to do on Saturdays.
Right.
We're going to take and work with the kids. I want you to be involved.
I would love to.
I want you to take and lay out what you would like to teach,
Okay.
what you would like to do. I'm about entrepreneurs. I'm going to show them obviously how to get rich. You understand? I'm going to show them how to be an entrepreneur, because I shined shoes when I was an entrepreneur. I picked up dry cleaners' clothes. You know, there's church services. Who wants to shine shoes doing services? Think about if you went to a big church and everybody brought their shoes in there. You could make yourself $200 between the early morning service. Now, you got to go to one of the services now.
Right.
You understand? But just think about that for a minute.
Right.
You know, you could just load up. Let's be
Yes.
entrepreneurs.
That's an unmet
You know,
need.
in the real estate business, the big difference when I was selling real estate and when there was mostly white people living in the communities that I was selling, the thing I noticed was the curbs. They was just like as if they took some water and cleaned the curbs. It was the cleanest thing you ever seen. And in our community now, even though the grass may be cut, it's not like washed down with water. There may be a little
Right.
dirt or something. It's not bad. I'm not saying weeds sticking out, but it's not just super clean.
That made a difference.
And what I want to know is that maybe the block clubs, you've been awful silent. You know, the block clubs have been too silent. The block clubs, can we get together? Suppose special assessment districts is what you call a SAD. So maybe with the SADs can take and form more SADs. City Council, can you lower the level to maybe 51%? The majority of the community can form a SAD. A SAD allows you to tax maybe $25 per parcel to a tax bill, a fixed amount. And this money is collected by the city, and it's paid to the community organization. And the community organization could hire crews. We call it the curb crew. Or come up with a great name. You understand? And these curb crews keep things really clean. You know what I mean? I mean, even theoretically, not only our youth, but I keep thinking about all these people on the corner that's standing out there with their buckets. Hell, give them a T-shirt and tell them to keep that place clean,
Right.
keep that corner clean. You understand? Why can't they buy water and put it into a big bucket and sell the water? They could buy it at 25 cents at the dollar store. They could buy a whole 6-pack for $1. Turn around and sell it and make money. Why don't you offer a service? But our young people can get involved and be entrepreneurs. And that's what we want that to happen, right?
Right.
So I want you to lay out your agenda, what you would like to teach. You're going to have a segment.
Okay.
You know, you're going to have a full day probably. Or you can slice it into maybe 3 segments, a half an hour apiece. Tell me how you like it, because it's all open now.
Okay.
You understand?
And this is for the entire summer that you're doing it?
It's 6 weeks so
Oh, 6
far,
weeks,
unless we
okay.
make it 8 weeks. But they said that 6 weeks is about all. We better do it because everybody will tire out.
Right.
So we're going to say 6 weeks. So parents, turn your kids over to me, to the Uncle Herb. You know, because I love kids, and I'm going to teach them the good things of life. At least how to become wealthy, you understand? And I'll try not to influence them with anything else. Is that fair enough? Okay. So anyway, this is wonderful. We're going to sign off. And those of you who want to join, those of you who's interested in joining us, June 12th class starts. June 30th, the summer series start. Tomorrow, June the 7th, is the last day you can pay your property taxes. Those of you who know somebody need their property taxes saved, just call me straight up. And there's another number for the property tax, 670-2449. Write it down, 670-2449. If you know anybody, call anybody that's losing their house. 313-670-2449. Call him, a gentleman named Tony. He's a 100% veteran. Tony Parker, he's going to answer the phone and he'll get on the case. And we've got the cash to help save your house. I got a little pile of money right now, and I have sold a couple of buildings just so I can help the homeowners. So help me to help homeowners. Please reach out to them. Let them know that we're here to help. And listen, you all could help too. You could call us, Herb. Let me help. Yes, thank you very much. Lynda, thank you so much.